As we have so many amazing women here for our BWA Online Community Hub launch today. So this is an amazing occasion because we have been talking about doing an online community hub, perhaps not those words, but an online chapter or an online group for probably as long as we have had BWA around. And our focus has always been on the local chapters and the local success circles. And of course, now with COVID, one of the great things has been it's actually forcing us to really utilise these wonderful digital platforms. And it's a great opportunity then to use the digital and virtual technology to stay connected and to build our network and share our knowledge. So welcome, ladies. I'd like to, just before I start, just a real thank you to Kerrie Nobes, who's facilitating our first hub, and I'll introduce her in more depth soon. And of course, if there's anyone that you know who might be interested in being a part of our community, we are national, as you're aware. We'd love for you to bring more of your group members, if you're a leader of a group, or your colleagues or your staff or your clients, to join Businesswomen Australia and get on board with us. I'm the National Director of Businesswomen Australia, founder of Businesswomen Australia, and I have been involved with the movement of women in business probably for as long as I was doing my commerce degree at UWA, when we were a force to reckon with. I have a background in strategy development and marketing and business development, predominantly in tech and professional services. I'm not an employee of Businesswomen Australia, though perhaps down the track I may become one. I'm really more the director, and I have my own business, which is a very busy business on the side, as a management consultant. So we have an amazing organisation, and it really is designed, developed, run and curated by women in Australia. So it really is very centric around the needs of women. I'd like to acknowledge the country in which we're all meeting today. We're coming in from so many different areas of Australia. It's been so exciting seeing women interested in connecting across this amazing land that has been lived, danced and celebrated on for over 120,000 continuous years with our Indigenous elders. Past, present and emerging. We acknowledge them, we celebrate them, and we very much support our Indigenous sisters in business. I'm actually in WA, I'm on Whadjuk country of the Noongar Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So Businesswomen Australia was really born on this vision where we could value the contribution of everyone that's within our community, whether or not they're members or non-members, but that we're actually working together for this greatest good, really demonstrating what collaboration is all about, obviously with a focus on women in business. Our vision is to be the #1 national collaborative community, and we really are a beacon of that kind of leadership. And I love that because we're being watched by a lot of other organisations, and we really hope that the way we're doing things will be a real inspiration in how to actually be the sort of organisation, the sort of community group and the sort of social enterprise and company that you can be, where you're really driven by utilising the gifts of everyone that's involved. So we really achieve this vision by helping each other achieve our goals and dreams. And we do that through building this incredible network. It's national, it's influential, and we create the opportunities that we want. We aren't waiting for someone to hand them to us. We get up and put our hand up, just like Kerrie has, saying, I want to be a part of this. I want to facilitate our first online hub. Let's do it. And so we go, yeah, okay, let's do it. We've been talking about this for so long, but we haven't really had the person that's gone and said, hey, I want to do it here and right now, and this is what I want it to look like. So it's going to be very exciting to see what comes from this. I believe it's a seed that is going to be spreading so many more seeds, and we'll be flaming that like a fire around Australia. Maybe not the best analogy, but a good positive spreading of the movement. So Businesswomen Australia isn't just for entrepreneurial women. It's not just for executives. It's actually a really beautiful, magical mix. We've got women that are employees, team managers, team leaders, C-suite women, women on boards, business owners, emerging startup entrepreneurs. We've got fully fledged scale business. We've got international women who are in Australia from international and global markets. So it's really women who are working in Australia who are actually looking to achieve something, to have an amazing goal, a dream here, and who want to be connected with other women who are ambitious about making things happen. So these have been historically the areas of development that we've focused on: leadership, business improvement, personal growth, influence and profile, which go hand in hand, because we're very much about being sort of giving opportunities for women to be seen and to step up and to be seen as influential as much as possible. And of course, connection and community are what we're talking about today. I'd just be very interested in everyone just, if you could, in your chat box, I'd like you to look at these shared values. And I know Kerrie's going to be doing more in terms of introducing each other, but just I would love for you to identify, out of inclusion and diversity, courage and honesty, collaboration, open-mindedness, conscious care, positive energy and optimism, which of these values actually, pick one that resonates most with you. Pop it in the chat box. I'd really love to have an idea of what of those values. These were values that we came together with a group of foundation members, and we spent a day developing our strategy. And we started first and foremost on what our shared values were and what our values for this organisation would be. And it might be time, as we get the experience of these online community hubs, it might be time to actually look at what might be actually missing from here as well. So if there's something, a value that you actually hold dear to your heart, that you feel you would want as a part of our shared values, I'd love just you to put that in as well, like in the chat box if you can. The benefits, of course, of being a part of Businesswomen Australia is that community really does make all the difference. I've had so many ideas in my life, and I'm pretty good at putting in place things, and I work really well autonomously, but those things that I've done on my own are never as good as the things I've done with a cohort of particularly of women who share my values and share the dream. And really, since BWA has had this extra group of women involved, we've got on board today Kathy Smith, who's a part of our shareholder group, looks after all our digital marketing. She's a director of Catco Enterprises. Kathy's on board as a shareholder. We've got Donna Vincent, who looks after all the accounts. She's got solo accounts. Anne-Marie Cross is coming on board. Jessica Schubert is also a part of our ownership base, invested in, developing the leadership platforms that we have. It's sort of taken on this amazing life that's so much bigger than anything I could have done on my own. So the benefits of community can come in so many different ways, not just through connections, but friendships and being involved in our organisation. There's a lot of benefits of being a financial member as well. So if you're interested in any of that, reach out and have a chat to me. It is these kinds of collaborations with, as I say, Catco Solo, Torrens University have been amazing with us over the last couple of years. Intact Teams is Jessica's team, Anne-Marie Cross, the podcasting queen, my team at Hawkins Marketing, Fire Up Coaching with our accredited coaching course, 3 Drops, who are always around to help us with our social events, wine tasting. Jo is biting at the bit to get across to the eastern states. She's had so many things planned over the last year and a half that we've had to shelve, in Brisbane, in Canberra, in Melbourne and Sydney for wine tasting for her beautiful Great Southern wines. And of course, Vida Carlino, who I think is online today. Inspiration Space is a beautiful place. It's our home in Inglewood in Perth. And if you know of other women with beautiful places and spaces, please let them know. We're always looking for a home. And in between all these lockdowns, they're great to be able to get together. So Torrens have been very generous. We've given away multiple scholarships for women who want to be university qualified. 2 MBA scholarships were fully paid scholarships were awarded in the last couple of years through Torrens University. And we make all these short courses currently available for our members at no cost. So if you're interested in any of that, it's another real reason to become either a classic or a premium level member. This flow, our course is coming up on that. Jessica Schubert is the Australian licensee for Disc Flow. For those of you who know about Disc and the profiling tool, it's very powerful. It's very much used in helping build teams, coaches, consultants, HR, managers, team leaders, companies that are very much about creating an organisation where people belong and understand each other. Disc Flow actually brings in the emotional intelligence part. So we've got a lot of our members who are leaders that are actually doing that Disc Flow course. It's a short course, and we're taking if you want to start that, we're taking those registrations through. If you look at our website, you'll get all the details you need for that. Kathy, Kerrie and I, Lisa Target, who's on call today, and I think Jeanette Matthews is on our call today. We've all met each other through doing our accreditation through the Fire Up accredited course. It's a Cert 4, and I'm starting the diploma shortly as well. It has been 6 months of absolute joy, learning so much about the power of using coaching questions in building and understanding and helping people build and implement the things that they want. So if you're interested in getting an accreditation, it's ICF pathway, it's ICF supported. This is a great option, and it also then connects you into the Businesswomen Australia, where you can be like me and Kerrie and actually get an idea out of it and say, hey, let's give this a crack, which is pretty much where all this started. Anne-Marie Cross has developed a business foundations course as well for women who have their own business or a consulting or coaching practice or therapy practice, and are trying to work out really how to create their service and product lines. It's well funded by us, so it's really well priced, and it's a really great way of helping clarify what your products and services are. So if you've got any questions about becoming a member, please let me know. It's only $299 for a year for a classic level membership. If you want to come in at a premium leadership and get a whole profile raising package and be involved in being showcased on our podcasts and on our webinars and in our Buzz magazine, please think about joining as a premium level member. The more women see you stepping up and realizing you're just a normal person who's got the courage to stand up and speak out, then the more likely other women will take that leap too. None of us are perfect. We're just trying to do the best we can and learn as we go. For those of you that are loving social media and social platforms, we have a LinkedIn group. It's free to join if you're not already on that group. You don't even have to be a classic or premium level member, but if you want to post in there, you do. But you can most welcome to join that. We have a company page. Please follow that on LinkedIn. Follow us on Facebook. We have a private members group as well for our classic and premiums. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and of course our website is amazing. Thank you, Kathy and the team. And we have a calendar of events, and you can subscribe to our e-news so you're in the loop. So there's my spiel. That took a little bit longer than I normally would, but thank you very much for your time and that. I'm going to hand over to the wonderful Kerrie Nobes. Kerrie is she's actually got a nursing or health background, but she's this phenomenal facilitator. She's been helping teams develop. She's got a strong background in sales and corporate, in managing teams, and she's taken a lot of her expertise from those sort of corporate and health backgrounds into now supporting other organisations and individuals. She's got some great ideas around how she wants to utilise her coaching skills in her own journey, but I'll hand over to Kerrie because she can tell you a little bit more about who she is and where she's from.
Thank you, Lynn. I might get you to unshare and then I can see faces, which I love to do. So really excited to have everyone here today. And this really was something that Lynn had dreamed about. And then when we started talking about it, we were just revving each other up and we were, oh my gosh, we could do this and we could do that. And then we wanted to get other people's views. So we had a session earlier in December and got a few people who really shared what they want. And then it started to really grow. And now what we want to do is get your thoughts so that we can really create hubs that are going to be really meaningful and valuable for the members. So just before we kick in, I think it would be nice to sort of get to know who's on the call. So since you're very, very adept at chat, why don't we put into chat what state you're in, what industry you work in, and if there's what was the reason you came along today? What is it that you want from today? Why did you come and join us? We're very happy you did, but let's just share why we did that. If you just pop into chat, I'll just... There you go. Thank you, Jeanette. Victoria, Jeanette was in our coaching group. Lovely to see Jeanette on, and looking forward to hearing your views, Jeanette. Agriculture, we're at Phillip Island, WA, web design, property in New South Wales, Queensland, WA again. That's brilliant. Keep popping those in, because I think it's really nice for us to know who's on the call with us and just how far we are. Lynn talked about it being a national group, and you can see from here how true that is. There's people from all over Australia. And that's one of the pluses in this virtual world we're living in, is that we can really connect no matter where we are in Australia. And that's one of those gold nuggets that have come from not such a good situation. Fantastic. All right, I get out of there so I can see your faces. So you can keep popping those in. So the other thing I would like to do, and this is just, I've been doing I have a theory and a bit of a research project on, and I want you to pop into the chat, whether you're team cat or team dog. If you want to know more about that, you can ask me at another time, not for today, but help me out. Team cat or dog, or neither. I love it, dog, cats, beautiful. Pop those in as you go along. So today is a bit of a twofold thing. We want to share with you what we've sort of looked at thus far. I love that you're all putting stuff in there. That's brilliant. We really want to share with you what our vision is thus far, but more so we want to hear from you. So we're going to use some breakout rooms, and we're going to make them into really small groups so that you guys can really talk to each other and share ideas. Lots of cats, dogs, lots of just pet lovers, lots of both. Team horse, yes, that does not surprise me, Jeanette, although I do know you have dogs. Anyway, that's that. We can continue on there. So connection really is different for each of us. We all have our own journey and how we get to be here and what we want from connection. So what we're going to do is go into a breakout room. I'm going to show you what I'd like you to do in that breakout room, and it will be small groups. All right. So when you get into your breakout group, I want you to think about what are some of the great connections that you have. So what are the things that fire you up when you're meeting with somebody else or you're meeting with the group? So share some experiences. We're going to spend 10 minutes in this breakout room, and Lynn and I would be really very, very grateful if, as you go into breakout rooms, you have a scribe for somebody who is going to capture what that conversation is so that you can share it back to us, because we really want to gather this information so we can make these hubs as valuable as we possibly can. So I will jump out of there. Got that? Sharing experiences, 10 minutes. Just wait for you to get kicked out of the room. I'll put a timer on. You'll get a 60-second countdown when we're coming to the end. And if you can have somebody scribe, and then we can come back and either put it in chat, or you can just take a photo of your scroll and send that to us so we can collate it. But we would really like to hear a bit, and we will hear it from a few of the groups. But with such a big group, we can't do the whole lot. So let me organise some breakout rooms. All righty. So enjoy the chat, share your experience, write it down, and then when we come back, we'll get a couple of people to share with us what that discussion is, and then we'll move into what our vision is and what you guys want. So off you go, have fun.
Yeah, there was a really gorgeous article in today's West Australian by a guy who is head of one of the medical associations, talking about his clients, you know, who can't get vaccinated, you know, and dealing with whatever it is. And he's talking about, you know, these kids like with autism and Down syndrome and all these amazing gifts that they bring to the world. And he's saying that the concept of, there's a Japanese concept, I think it was wasabi-ami or something, wasabi-abi, which is the concept of being imperfect but beautiful, you know, and valuable. But, you know, we're all kind of, there's a brokenness to all of us, and we have to embrace this. And I was thinking about that this morning. I thought, that's just gorgeous. I love that. It's that whole thing where, as women, I think if we embrace the fact we're not perfect, and we're just, you know, we have this, we push out this persona, or so many women do, that, you know, this has got to be perfect. We've got to be right. We've got to be 100%, whatever it is. And if we can show that we're all just doing our best.
Yeah, I love that. And I think a lot of people need to hear it, actually, because there are so many opportunities out there that you can be really hesitant to take just because you're not sure.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? We can, that's what's so exciting about this. If you've got a group of 12 women you can interact with and practice with and engage, and that's awesome. Welcome back, everybody. I'm saying it's never enough time, but there will be more opportunity to share thoughts, and we will mix the groups up so we get to share with other groups of how we went. What I would love to do is just hear from one or two of the groups. So let me just pick a name, and if they would like to share some of what was discussed. So let's go with Danielle. Hey, Danielle, you happy to share what was chatted in your room?
I'm happy to share, but I'll have to be honest, we didn't answer all the questions.
You shocked me.
And like I said, I think it was, I think I can distill, you know, the answers actually from what we talked about. But I just said in the chat that was the quickest 10 minutes ever, I think. But yeah, I think, you know, that this initial one, we just wanted to introduce ourselves to each other and see where we're at and that sort of thing. So I think that was sort of part of the connection. And then we talked about the connection point, which is Lynn, and talking about how, I hope it's okay to reveal, but we've all been Lynned, and she sprinkled her fairy dust on us all and supported us across our various adventures. I'm relatively new, only been around less than a year, and my fellow group members have been around for 7 or 8 years, so involved in BWA. So yeah, that was, and what we're talking about, what we wanted out of the group, we didn't quite get there to the end, but it was around, I think, support for, you know, people going through similar things, maybe similar age and similar stage and things like that. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Danielle. So we will go back into another longer breakout group to talk about what we want from the hub, so we can get a much better picture of that. And we're really looking to just see what people's thoughts are of connection, and what are the things that you get from connection, and how can you create connection. So let's just check in with somebody else. You can turn me down if I put you on the spot and you're not happy to chat, but let's go with Sky.
Okay, so I was in a group with Gail, Debbie, and Julie. And sorry for jumping out. I accidentally hit leave the room instead of continuing to scribe for our team. But basically, it was sort of improve your work-life balance by sort of continuously knowledge sharing with those people that you do have contact with. It's also being able to sort of share, not so much just share, but be able to provide encouragement and also get that encouragement back, knowing that you're not alone. There have been other people going through those situations as well. So that also offers great support. We're able to learn from others. And I also put here, it maintains that sort of that feeling of connection during the work from home. You know, we're in WA, we're expected to go back into lockdown shortly. So, you know, the feeling like you're part of a team, and like you do have a sense of belonging is still really, really important.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. That's really important. If there's another scribe from a group, if you know where the reactions are down the bottom, you can pop up a hand and then we'll choose somebody who wants to speak. It doesn't matter if you're not scribe. Anyone want to share their teams? All right, I've got Esther.
Hello, ladies. Very interesting group. A couple of us were from Perth, and one from Brisbane and one from Gippsland. And some are solopreneurs, some are like I was working from home, which is my office because I've been working online for many years. And some were new to working from home. But Leanne was very interesting, and I think we need to catch up with her because she was talking about social media and she wrote a thesis on the pros and cons of social media. And we see a lot of that on people's mental health, their state. And so certainly you look at the great thing is it keeps connected left, right and centre. And for those that are not used to being online or their work dimension, their social media is a very good tool to use. But also we talked about Michelle Anderson, no relation to me, but another Anderson, was talking about using global opportunities and now being part of a group that used to, sorry, scam call.
I love it. I'm seeing the tumbleweeds already.
So it's like, you know, like in a regional area, how do people get together when they can't physically get together? And so people overseas can be as close as the person next door if you're meeting online. So that was all very interesting that in a way it brings people together regardless of thinking that they are so far away. They're as close as your computer screen.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Esther. And that is so true because I know I've been facilitating with Singapore and I've been on workshops in the UK and USA and we are all so accessible now, which is so exciting. And the fact that we've got so many people around the country doing different things, it really gives us an opportunity. Sorry, I just did meeting somebody, giving us the opportunity to learn from one another. So one of the things that I was thinking of when we were talking about this was, the connection is really giving somebody support and it's challenging somebody as well. So it's not just saying yes. Yep, perfect. It's about challenging, but in a respectful way, but also about being a champion for those around you. And the fact that we've got so many women doing so many different things, we can really champion each other. We can go, I've got somebody who can do that for you. And it's about sharing the opportunities and knowing who does what. And that's one of the things that really excites me about this Connection Hub. So we're going to move on from there because I'm very mindful that I want to get you back into breakout rooms so you can continue. I love that you're putting things in chat. Please just share extra things that you're thinking about. We would love to hear. And if you've got scribes, if you can get that information to Lynn and I of what your room is, particularly when we move into the next room, which will be about what you guys want. Now, what I just wanted to do was just introduce you to a concept very briefly of Jane Dutton's work. Now, I'm not sure if anybody has seen Professor Jane Dutton's work before, but let me just give you a précis. Don't want to go into this in big detail, but she's a lady who looked at what is high quality connection. And she talks about 4 pathways, which are these 4 here. And one is that respectful engagement. It's about making people feel valued. So when we get into connection hubs and things, we really want to make sure that people are comfortable, they're safe, and they're being heard, because that's part of us giving value and worth to others. There's also that task enabling bit about how do we help others get to where they want to be. And I see that as that champion as well, and sharing of knowledge and know-how. It's about making things that are trusting, those connections where we're trusting, and trust is really built on being reliable, credible, and giving somebody a safe space to land, that they can share things and know they're not going to be judged. Then playing, and this is one of my pluses. I love a bit of play. And it's about being available too. So if somebody needs you, it's about being able to say, well, okay, I'm going to put aside time and being meaningful. That's the Jane Dutton model, which I love. I just think it really gives us some good starting points on how do we actually build what we want from a connection hub. Now, if we do all of this, her work showed that you actually build creativity and innovation. It helps with problem solving. It helps with our adaptability. It helps with our resilience, and it helps with our psychological health. We can build up those hormones and those neurotransmitters that actually give us that sense of and oomph, and we take it away and the other person takes it away. So her interactions are about forward thinking. It's about both parties walking away, or all parties walking away feeling energized. None of that vampire stuff. None of that, oh my God, stop, you're sucking the life out of me. It's about pumping people up and having people walk away feeling valued, feeling part of something, and all of those things that you guys were just talking about. So if anybody wants information on that, I'm happy to share some stuff, but I just think it's a nice sort of basis for us to move into a conversation about what our hubs might look like. So this is where we're at thus far. As I say, very much work in progress, and each hub we really want to be tailored to that group. So there are not going to be 2 hubs that will be the same. So we're envisaging, I can't say that word. Our vision is, let me try that one, small groups. So, we're looking at maybe 12 to 14 women meeting monthly. What we were thinking was that if we could meet for 6 months, that would give us a great opportunity to learn about each of ourselves, each of those people, get to know them, share. And then it might be that you want to start hubs jumping and join another hub and meet some other people. Or it may be that you want to stay in there. But we just want people to be able to flow and ebb so that they're getting what they want. But each hub will be a 6-month period, so that we're not just doing the speed dating. We're actually going to really get to know people and what they do, what we do, and we can help each other out. And that group will decide what the conversation is on each of those monthly meetings. Somebody to facilitate, that's me for the February one. Then we're going to be looking at who else wants to be facilitators, and we can create. That's the hope, is that we will have a whole range of hubs that will work, and that might be targeted, as somebody was saying. It might be people who are in the same age group. It might be people who are in the same industry, or it may be just a whole mishmash, so that you learn a whole lot of different things from a whole lot of different viewpoints. The first session of each hub would be really about finding out who's in that hub, the opportunity to give that blurb on your business, what you do, what's important to you, why you're there, and what you want from this experience. And then the facilitator is going to help with that. And then we're going to look at how do we agree on the ways of working to make sure that everyone gets a say, and that when we go into the next sessions, that we're all working on something that's of value for the group. We're going to create ideas for discussion. You know, it's, as I say, each group will have their own path and their own way of doing things. And it may be that, you know, all of these things will change. This is just where we're at a starting point. Flexible format, it's about sharing challenges with a group of women that you get to know really well. It's about offering each other solutions. It's about supporting, championing, and being a champion for one another. So there will be a chance at the end for you to ask questions, but now I want you guys to do the work. So I'm going to just go here. This is where we're going to pop you back into breakout rooms, and we'll go, what's the time? Yeah, we'll go 15 minutes and then we'll come back and convene again. So what would you want personally? This is about you. So I want you to share this in your group. What do you want from the 6 sessions? How would you measure that it was a valuable experience for you over that length of time? So it's really thinking deeply about what you want to get from this hub. It's going to be quite a short, as we know, these conversations go quickly, but that's why the hubs will be so valuable, because you will have time to explore and to really dig deeper with the people in your hub. So jump out. All righty, so 15 minutes in a hub. Maybe we'll keep the same group so that you know who you're talking with. Thumbs up or down? Down, up, up. More, I need more thumbs. Down, all right, we're going to have a bit of a change. I think that's about halfway. So we're going to change people. May I ask that you really try and get into the conversation without too much talk about what your business is, because when you're into the hubs, that's where you'll get those opportunities. So let's stay targeted. I know that's a hard ask, big ask, but somebody please scribe. This is the important bit. What do you want? How do you see that it could be structured to make it a really valuable thing for you? And then we'll come back and share. Welcome back, ladies.
Hi.
How did that go?
Right.
Need to unmute. I saw that trick all the time.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So the others have got they'll be booted soon. So they're finishing where they're at. Brilliant. All right. Welcome back, everyone, as everyone drops in there. Fantastic. Okay. Now I know that you're probably going, I want more talk. We are just starting and scratching the surface. What we would like to do is to get some feedback from some of the rooms if we could. So I've just taken note of one name in the group, but if you're not the person who wants to speak, or you had somebody scribe, then pass it over to whoever needs to do it. But let's speak to, is it room 1? I think was Kath, Danielle and Gail. Would somebody like to give us a bit of a précis of what are the things that you were thinking about? How are you going to measure whether it's been a valuable experience? What's going to count?
Did you guys want me to speak? Okay. Yep.
Yes, please.
Okay. Are you okay with me speaking, Kath, or did you want to?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay. And Gail, you nodded, so you're okay? Yeah. Well, it was really interesting. We had a great discussion because we started off with what, we wanted, what we instinctively thought sort of straight away. And Kath mentioned business friends. So, she mentioned she has her corporate friends from her corporate life, and clients, they're separate. So establish a network to build some business friendships. And then Gail mentioned being in a group with common like-minded people who appreciate our values and understand what our daily, weekly, monthly lives look like, which can be quite different in a business versus corporate, that sort of thing. And then it was interesting, we got through to a stage where we identified that all three of us are at very different stages of our businesses, and we've got quite different priorities and things in terms of our overall life. So we sort of distilled it down, and Kath said it really well. She said, understanding what each of us want and how we want it delivered. And I think that's going to differ for everyone, and also understanding where each of us are at in our journey, or business adventure, because some people may be wanting to be part of the hubs because they're at the start. So they're wanting to build and give, like making friends before you can call on a friend, that sort of thing. And then some other of us in the groups might be so pressed for time that we really don't want to kind of, contribute beyond those particular hubs. I guess that was kind of, I was thinking of myself and my other competing priorities and everything else. Being in the moment there for the hub, so however long that goes, for an hour and a half, you'll get the best of me. Beyond that, it's going to be difficult to kind of, contribute. And then also Kath came up with a brilliant one about having, a professional facilitator. That will really be incredibly valuable. And maybe some education sessions. But in terms, we didn't really talk about how we'd measure it. I guess it would be, making more business friends, establishing more connections, and I guess, feeling like, we're making progress, but from whichever base we're starting from. I think it's really important to understand what base we're coming from, where we want to head in terms of outcomes, and how much of ourselves we're going to give in that to each session or in between. Some people might want to give more on other sides. So I think understanding, I'm not saying classifying us all, but just understanding where everyone's at and matching appropriately. Maybe it'd be good to match across the range. Maybe it'd be good to match within the areas that we're in. So they're just some thoughts that we came up with.
Brilliant. Thank you, Danielle. That's really insightful. And I think that's going to be, each of us want something different, and it will be finding the commonality that you can get a group together, and what that commonality could be, how long's a bit of string, really. All right, let's hear from another group. How about room 2? That was with Gemma, and not sure who else was in there. Would somebody from that group?
It was Sharon. She was taking our notes.
Okay, Sharon, can we call on you then?
Yep, certainly. What we were looking for was we were looking more for a support network with a powerhouse of ideas, so that somewhere that we could meet up, so that we could bounce ideas around. A little bit more intimate than just a general chat. Yep. Because everybody gets an opportunity to talk. We wanted to we wanted to form deeper relationships with other members of the group, because we found that our time is precious, and we wanted a monthly meeting with an agenda rather than just catch up for random discussions. Yeah, and that's what Beautiful. We came up with.
Great.
Yep.
Some really good points. Thanks, Sharon. All right. How about somebody in room 5? Nithi's group. There you go.
Hi, everyone. So very much similar to what everyone else had said, it's good to know why we're meeting and have that sort of agenda. And then me being me, I also threw in the concept that potentially there's an avenue where you don't get started too rigid with an agenda in the outset, because you kind of want that to come naturally with the group as well. So, if the overarching agenda was for the first 2 months, there is no agenda, and then you build the agenda afterwards, could be the case. But we all agree that having some sort of base level structure would be helpful, especially if you were going to hub hop. you wanted to make sure that it was similar enough, albeit that, you know, it was not exactly the same. So you could create the creativity across different diverse groups, but the structure and the underlying foundation was similar enough that when you did hub hop, that it was still safe and comfortable and you kind of knew what to expect, if that made sense. We also talked that having the smaller group was beneficial, because sometimes you go to these big things and, you know, if you're naturally a networker, that's comfortable, but having the small one really gets you to deep dive into really knowing yourself and really knowing how you can contribute and what you get back from the people in your group. And we talked a lot about how would we know that this was valuable? Well, simple metrics like monthly attendance. You know, if it was the same 3 persons attending, then is it successful? And then to flip it, if those 3 people were the only 3 people that were attending, it's not necessarily a failure, but maybe those 3 people could be extrapolated because they're obviously got something that they want to contribute that might be better to be lent across another group, right? So not to see it as a failure, as a metrics, but to watch the number of attendance and let it tell you what it's trying to tell you. And then we talked about if people wanted to continue, obviously, that's a really good metrics. You know, there was a willingness from a group of people to continue, then those would be all good things to keep going. That's
fantastic. Thank you. Some really great insights there from you guys. How about room 6? I think Shelley can't speak. Who else can speak that was in that room? Room 6.
I was in there, but it was mainly just me doing the speaking because Shelley couldn't talk. So I don't think it was that. There's not a huge amount to.
Okay, that's okay. That's totally fine, Samantha. All right, let's try. Where do we go? Somebody in room 4 with Tash.
Yeah, our sentiments were quite similar to everyone else. We think it really depends on what everyone wants to get out of the sessions, and matching people who want similar outcomes to be matched up with similar people, and making sure we have a good framework or a good facilitator to make sure we stay on track and be able to achieve everyone's outcomes.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so all very similar.
Okay, fantastic. Who have we missed? Lisa, were you in room 3? You want to?
Yeah, look, we're very much along the same thread of thinking as well. Couple of things that jump out. Look, setting clear objectives, really important. And we're talking about, you know, subjective, subjective measures, and really working out, oh gosh, how are we going to measure the success of these hubs? And we had a really good chat around that. Certainly what come out of that was common goals, great connections. We also talked about the size of the group and the importance of that. And Lindley and Leanne were fantastic. We had a great conversation. Lindley mentioned the leaninorg.com sort of formula there, and she mentioned how you know, there's a really target group of between 6 and 8 people would be an ideal sort of size, perhaps. Yeah, look, I think, there was a conversation about, you know, making sure that there was equal contribution and making sure that there was balance. There needs to be a strong facilitator. And Leanne had a really good idea around perhaps splitting the responsibilities of the facilitator. So one person could be a facilitator and one person could be a timekeeper. So really making sure that that bad cop scenario could be shared. There is a lot of interesting thought about should it be a mix of industries or age. And then we talked about, you know, time zones perhaps could be criteria for connection. Could be around the practical aspects. So such as, you know, if you've got time commitments during the day, is it a night hub or is it an early morning hub? So there might be criteria around that. So certainly around the practical aspects. Then we talked about whether or not it's a state hub as well. So, you know, the idea of being able to connect with your hub face to face certainly lights my interest. And balancing that with online as well. So yeah, we talked about all sorts of things, and I'll put it into some notes for you, Kerrie.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome. All right. I think, Mel, did you have something that your group chatted about?
I want to dob in Debbie, because I think Debbie, both Debbie and Jeanette, sorry, maybe I've gotten that wrong. Yes, it is Jeanette. Yes, both Debbie and Jeanette came up with some really valid points.
All right, Debbie, you've been jobbed in.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I'm not sure. I don't just chew up airtime for the sake of it. I think most of what we came up with has already been discussed, and I put something in the chat, and as did Jeanette. So unless any of my group can correct me, I'm not sure. I don't think we came up with anything else unique that hasn't already been said.
All right. Well, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. So we've got some great ideas there. And what we've really, I guess, you know, Lynn, will move on, you know, to the what's from here. But essentially, you know, if anybody here wants to be a facilitator and to start a group, then please let Lynn know. Please think about, you know, what you've discussed, and sometimes we walk away from things and we start mulling it over, and if you come up with some great ideas, please just shoot a quick email through so that we've got all of that. And maybe, Lynn, we need to look at a survey which sort of collects information so we can try, you know, for those that register interest, and try and connect some of those dots for you and make that work in terms of time and you know, the interest and such things. But that's pretty much our content as far as what we want to do. But I want to pass over to Lynn, who's going to give us, you know, a bit more insight from her view and the where to from here.
Thanks, Kerrie. Thanks very much. That's great. I've just got the guy at the door ringing the bell and the dog going off, which is just
that was good timing.
I've sent text to all 4 members of the household to keep it quiet, because this is a very important webinar we're doing today, but just bear with me for a second. What I'm fascinated by in terms of planning this is that I would like you all just to think for a minute what your goals and objectives are. What's your big, hairy, audacious goal for this year in terms of your career or your business, or what's on your mind, your biggest challenge at the moment that you want to conquer? And I would really love you, either privately to me or in the chat box, to put that down. I'm interested in this because what I'm hearing from everyone are things like sort of the sorts of things that we quite often come to when we plan anything, is all the things that we think other people might want, you know, and all the different variations and the different things. The other thing I'd like you to put in the chat box is what type of time of the day a hub would suit you, and what day of the week a hub would suit you. So something I don't want you to worry about anyone else. I want you to say, I'm in Sydney, a morning hub that goes from 7 till 9 before work would work best for me, and I want to be in a hub with. So you can do it privately, you can send it as an email, or you can do it as a general chat. I think it'd be really interesting to see what each single one of you are looking for as a unique individual, putting yourself first, which I know we don't do very well, not worrying about everyone else, but saying what it is that you want personally. So I want this, and I want to find out this, and I want to get out of this. Bang, bang. Okay. And that way, that'll be really helpful for me and Kerrie, because we have the first hub starting on the 8th of February. Is it somewhere like that? Hang on, let me just double check. We have the first hub starting in February, and it's almost full already. But the other thing I'd really love to do is hear if any of you are keen on being a facilitator of a hub, even if it's even to start and then handing over the facilitation. If you've got these skills, I want you to let me know. So that's the first thing. We could potentially have 3 or 4 hubs by the look of it. If you want those smaller hubs, we could have 3. The other thing is how many you would like to have in a hub that you are participating in, not what you think everyone else wants, but how many do you want in the hub? So you can be pushing all that through. Okay, so the more detail I get from you and what you want as the wonderful, unique individual that you are, the easier it will be. And it doesn't need to be done through a survey at this point, other than what we're doing right now, because I don't need extra work. Okay.
Can you just give us a quick list again? I've got how many do you want, the day, the time?
Yep.
I've written what, but
what your goal, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to, what's your hairy audacious goal in terms of where you're at?
Yep.
Sort of what's your ideal hub? And if you're open-minded and don't mind just happy to be put in a random hub, then that's fine too. Okay, so I am going to share something else here. Oh, the other thing that I'm interested in is, if there's, so that's pretty much covers all that. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share a little bit more around what's going on. Obviously, we've got predominantly members on today. For those of you who are not members of BWA, in terms of you will need to become on as a classic level member to be in a hub. All these things take time and effort and money. We have a bunch of contractors we like to pay to help facilitate all these sort of things that go on in the background to make businesswomen function. So for those of you who are keen to be involved in the hub concept and join as a member, you also get to join all our other events as well. We've got a fantastic schedule of events coming up already. We've got, I'll show you what we've got coming up. We have got tomorrow, the hottest team building trends. Jess Schubert's actually sharing with us. She's just launched an amazing book. Our premium level members would have got that for a Christmas present from me. In terms of the mega trends that are going on, she's our head of learning and development, and we'll be sharing those trends, and we'll be also talking about how disc flow is being utilised to help build really effective hybrid teams during this challenge. So jump on to that tomorrow. If you're on this call, register as a member if you're thinking about membership, even if you haven't got your membership organised at this point. Feel free to join as a member to that if you are interested. Of course, as I said, on the 8th of February, the disc flow accreditation course is starting. So for those of you who want another tool for your toolkit, or as a leader, if you want to bring that into organisation, that's actually worth doing. And on the 9th of Feb, we've got a Q&A with the gorgeous a couple of executive team members from Kerrie Australia. In the lead up to International Women's Day, they're actually launching a Her Circle campaign, and really it's around that power that women working together in a circle can actually have in terms of building momentum. Kerrie Australia, I hadn't even known about them until they approached me last year and asked to collaborate on this. So this is again free to join like today was. So jump onto that on the 9th of February. The more the merrier. I'd love to see all of you ladies that have been interested in helping create our community hubs to jump onto that interactive webinar. We'll be doing a bit of work around community in there as well. And lucky Perth people, we have Chats, Cheese and Wine at the Inspiration Space with Vita Carlino in February, all things going well. That's a few days after we've opened our borders. So it might be like our last Melbourne event. I think it took us 3 or 4 tries with dates to try and get our in-person event before Christmas. Kerrie, we just got in there.
And it happened, and it was so exciting to see real people, wasn't it, Lisa?
Amazing. So fingers crossed we can do this one in Perth. If you want to do something from a local in-person point of view, if you're game, I'm game. So have a chat to me, reach out to me, lynn@businesswomenaustralia.com.au. And it's the 21st of Feb that the first community hub kicks off with Kerrie, and we might have more than one. So if you're keen to put your hand up as a facilitator, if you are qualified and experienced as a facilitator and you're happy to facilitate a hub, then I would love for you to do that. It would be amazing, because I can see that we had hundreds of people on LinkedIn keen for the concept. I've had emails galore that couldn't make the launch today, and even a few that couldn't get on with us or stay on with us. So there's definitely an appetite for this. And I can see the diversity and the needs around the hub. Some want accountability hubs, some want skills sharing hubs. Some of you are looking for morning get up and go hubs, or whatever they might be, or local hubs, or industry hubs. I think was interesting with Samantha. I was in with Samantha and Shelley, and Sam's really looking for someone with e-commerce experience and groups of people that have an app development experience. And we do have members in our community. So if they aren't on this call, we'll just push up and say, okay, here's an app development and marketing hub skill sharing group. And that would be the sort of thing that Samantha would be after. So hers is very specific, her need. So that's why I want you to be really mindful about what it is you want, and that will avoid, it's better to have a smaller hub that's more real around your needs, and it'll avoid that whole talk fest thing that I think Debbie and Jeanette were alluding to. So I'm a great talker, but I'm also love action. And those of you who know me well, is that sometimes that actually gets in the way of sort of being patient and sitting with things. So I also get the fact that some of you hubs just might want to, let it evolve and be organic, and that is awesome. You can be the organic group, and that might be even more powerful. So let's get what we want out of this. And if any of you would like to have any one-on-one chats over Zoom or over the phone, or if you're in WA in person, send me an email, lynn@businesswomenaustralia.com.au, and I'll send you my calendar booking link, and we can hook up and have a proper chat. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I was quite overwhelmed with the response we got from this, and I am, from the bottom of my heart, so grateful to you, Kerrie. Kerrie, you are just an amazing, generous, spirited, courageous person who embodies what the Businesswomen Australia woman is, and I'm happy to have a go. We didn't know exactly how it might look or what it's going to be, and I love the fact that you're really open to this actually growing and being developed and co-designed around the needs of this group of women who have put their hand up to be a part of something I think is going to be a real movement. So thank you. I think all of us here on this call are very grateful to you. Thank you, Kerrie.
You're welcome. Thanks. Enjoyed working with everybody. And just on when you were going, I think that there is that opportunity for us to have a hub, and if they're looking for some learning, to draw in somebody from whatever that industry is. If you want some financial help, find somebody from within Businesswomen Australia who can help you out. And it's back to that champion. Champion the people amongst us.
No one says no to Businesswomen Australia. I had a wonderful member who some of you might know, Lisa Blake. She's written a couple of books. She was in New South Wales and wanted to get one of the big publishers to actually take her on and, publish and get through their distribution networks and grow out of the self-publishing mode she'd been in. And she said, the gatekeepers, I just can't get to this guy. I want to meet this guy. I can't remember if it was Hatchet or one of those big publishing guys. And he's, it looks after the whole APAC. All the gatekeepers were stopping her from getting to him. And I said, well, no one says no to Businesswomen Australia. Let's run an event in Sydney and have him on a panel and you sitting next to him, and get him to talk about what it is, what's the publishing pathway for people in business. And you can talk about it from a self-publishing point of view, and you can chat to him all night. And he agreed to come and do that panel. And then some other publishing group saw her book at the Wollongong bookstore, because her mum had said, put it in the bookstore, just, get it in there. And they saw her and offered her a contract. So she's now got you put it out in the universe, it's going to happen. But no one says no to Businesswomen.
Oh, to Lynn.
So even if it's not within our immediate community, mind you, there's 10,000 subscribers to Businesswomen Australia, so we're a pretty big group. We can pretty much draw whatever expertise or whatever you want to know. We can have them as guest speakers in your hub. So lovely to have you all on board. Quick checkouts. Hands up if you want to say something before we go. Don't be quiet, Jeanette. I'm looking at Jeanette going like this. Kathy Smith, you want to round up?
I'd just like to thank everybody that came, and yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal thing to go forward. And yeah, there will definitely be an assortment of different hubs. And I'd also like to just do a special shout out to Gemma Heaney, who is our new circle leader for Rockingham here in WA. So welcome aboard, Gemma. Very
Hi,
pleased
everyone.
to have you.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies. Have an awesome week.
Everyone.
And we'll see you. Did we get
in a hub? In a hub.